Hello, 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 good morning, or whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to the stream. Excuse my sleepy voice, I woke up 15 minutes ago. Today we're on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. We're going to be flying an A320neo, British Airways, as you can see. London Heathrow to Manchester Airport. Live in real time for flight BA1386. I've got my SimBrief flight information next to me, so I'm going to first get the aircraft underway, and then we'll put in our flight plan and all things like that. Also today I'm using the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight yoke with throttle quadrant. Let's enter our flight information. London Heathrow, Echo Golf, Lima Lima to Manchester, which is Echo Golf, Charlie Charlie. See that appear on our VFR map. Cost index is going to be 10, and our cruise altitude for today is going to be what is it going to be actually? Bear with me. $18,000 feet. 180. Okay, flight plan. Let's choose our departure. It's going to be 27 right runway, and we will be departing via let's find it. There we go. Uniform Mike Lima Alpha 1 Foxtrot, or UMLA 1F. Let's insert that. As you can see, it's added our departure there. Scroll through our flight plan. And the next, we're going to want to enter our next waypoint. Indigo November. And to enter that, we are going to click on here. And it's going to ask us, we've got a choice of waypoints. We are in the United Kingdom, so it's going to be N52 degrees, the coordinate that we want. So that looks like it's gone wrong. I clicked too low. So let's erase that. Go back, and we're going to want to click on our previous waypoint. And then it'll ask us again. There we go, so that's gone in properly this time. And it's added it to our flight plan in the correct place. Good, insert. Actually didn't need to insert that because it just kept entering. Tango 420 is a flight path, we don't need to enter that, so we're going to enter our next waypoint, which is Echo Lima Violet Oscar Sierra. That's now been added there on our VFR map, and we're direct to 23 right, so we're going to have to get ourselves an approach there. So we're gonna come in. ILS-23 right. And that'll be the right one. There we are, so that is our approach into Manchester, has now been loaded in. Bit of a funky one, give it that, but it's decided that's what it wants to do, I think. Okay, so let's insert that flight plan. That flight plan should be complete. Let's have a look on our VFR map, and it's all there as we wanted it to be. Cool, so let's get clearance for that. If it would let us. There we go. see our flight plan on our displays there as well. Course line's Alpha 24 because I forgot to change it when I loaded in, but it's too late now because we're doing this flight live. Back to him. So we've got permission to do that flight, and now we're going to want to tune ground and get pushing back because it is 8 AM UTC, so GMT for the UK. Disengage parking brakes. Go on our way back, and then we're also going to want to get the engine started. And we're also cleared to 12,000 feet. So we'll set that up ready to go.
Ground Alpha 2.
So let's get our permission to taxi. A little bit, but it's okay. We're still on the taxiway. Oh, don't forget to acknowledge taxi clearance. gonna check good old flight radar. See what flight BA1386 is doing. Haven't been alerted just yet. Oh no, we are on the map. We are pushing back. I'm using flight radar 24 to track this flight. If you want to join along, just download the app or go online, search flight radar 24 and search for flight BA1386 or via route London Heathrow to Manchester, and it should be the live flight. You can click on and view live on the map. So we are going to get our taxi underway. No taxi ribbon available, but it's okay because our taxi route was just to the end of this taxiway. Follow taxiway on already. Oh, that's pain. Oh, bro, okay, so we're going all the way to the end. Not a spiel on the ground frequencies. Okay, flight BA1386. Would help if I had the right controls set up, wouldn't it? Oh, we do. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Also, now we've got our engine set up properly. We can turn it back to, no, not crank, normal. And of course bleed off as well. Get the AP off. What is happening? Plane is right inside me. Okay, well that's lovely. Let's move, shall we? Taxi lights on. Excuse any lag just while we're on the ground. It's trying its best. It's gonna make a right turn here. Follow this aircraft here. a bit more separation now. Let's give it some beans. Pretty miserable weather for this sunrise, unfortunately. Losing the line a little bit. The wipers have not helped that lag. Be a nice long taxi for us today, especially given the aircraft in front of us. Okay, they're turning on. No, they're not. They're just slowing down to make this little chink in the taxiway. Hopefully any of this lag should disappear when we're up and away. It's just the volume of players in the ground currently at London Heathrow. This British show is liveries from a liveries pack. I can't remember which one. Obviously, this is the A320 Neo that comes in the normal game. And this is the standard London Heathrow in the game also. No packs for that. Try and hang back off this aircraft in front. I keep getting a bit close to him, but that's how it is. Blame him, not me. And ultimately I'm the one behind, it's probably my fault, but see an A380 just on the left hand side of the screen taking off. I assume taking off, still going quite slowly. Getting a bit too much speed up again. Stopping. quite sure why, but we are. See another A320neo just off to my right hand side. Yeah, a few of them. Right down yet again. Let's check on actual flight BA1386. Where? Just taken off. That shows how slow our taxi was. We're going to have to make up a little bit of time. Try and cut in slightly longer way around. Ignore the fact my left wing would have just smacked into the rear end of that aircraft. It's fine. So we're lined up ready to go on the runway. Let's request takeoff clearance. And we're going to want to wait, so we're going to turn landing lights on. Forward move. Flaps to 1. Yeah, flaps there. Trim shouldn't need touching. Also got to acknowledge that we're lining up and waiting. So QNH, he's just told us 3021. So we're going to set barometric pressure to that, and then we're going to acknowledge our takeoff clearance. We're going to set speed brakes to armed in case we need to abort. Flaps are at 1, and I believe we are ready to go. So as we throttle up, you'll see the auto throttle engage over here. It does it automatically in A220. We're going to lift off at approximately 140 knots. just over perhaps, and then we'll reduce the throttle. So we're going to, if you watch here on the display, it'll change. We're aiming for FLX with the throttle, so throttle's moving forward now. That's a bit too much. There we go, set to FLX. There you can see. Keep it on the runway. Bit of a crosswind. Might feel it when we lift off. Watching the speed come up. 120 knots. Approaching V1. V1. Rotate. Proper crosswind. Keep it steady. We're in the air. So we're going to bring the gear up. Speed coming up. Reduce the throttles to climb out. And already we can put the flaps up. And we can start to engage autopilot. Slightly chaotic in this weather. I'm going to have to acknowledge that transmission, acknowledge the handoff. On to London Centre. We're going to look after us while we're in the air. On departures until we get near Manchester, when we will be on Manchester Centre. So we're about 3 minutes behind the real flight on flight radar. We can hopefully catch them up. Because I set the altitude earlier, it should just climb us up to 12,000. We can engage a flight director as well, which gives us this little cross on the artificial horizon. I believe we were acknowledged when we made contact. We are. So as I say, our call sign is Alpha 24 because I forgot to change it. It's too late now because we are up and on. Calls for a sip of tea. See, we're breaking through the cloud now. Looking a bit nicer. That's quite a steep right-hand turn. We can turn the landing lights and taxi lights off now. Strobes. So we're almost already up to 12,000 feet, so we should get told by the air traffic control to ascend, climb to something like that. Or possibly not yet. I guess we might have to wait till our next waypoint. We've got the sunrise now as we come over the clouds. Never goes away. Oh my, there's the traffic. Wow. Can't get a word in edgeways. I'm going to set that to standard. Above 10,000 feet. Busy control today. Did we get it? No. Yay. Into some thick cloud here. Why is our cruise altitude 12,000 feet? So we actually want 18,000 feet. Again, can't get the word in, but we'll get there. Wow, it's non-stop. Have to listen to his waffling. We'll get on Manchester Centre soon, which will hopefully be a bit nicer. We're almost up at our cruise altitude. Ground speed is currently 373 knots. Not hugely impressive, but because it's such a short flight, really, we're not going to get any more altitude than this. Just got a lovely view of that sunrise now. Off to the east. It's a good looking aircraft, this. Very sleek. In my humble opinion. Reduce the throttle slightly. In fact, we don't need to. It's already reduced them. It just says speed, not climb out anymore. The condition of our engines. Flight path.
Alpha 2-4.
That was a bit premature. 2-3 left approach apparently. I'm gonna change that. Looking on flight radar, they're using 2-3 right for landings and departures, arrivals and departures at Manchester. So. Okay. Okay, so that's the transition we wanted, and the approach we wanted. So we're gonna start to begin our descent, as has the actual flight BA1386. A little bit ahead of us on the map still. But he's already down to 14,000 feet, or she. So we're gonna go over to our altitude control, and I'm just gonna bring it down. Let's call it 12,000 feet for a shallow descent, or 13 will do. Acknowledge our handoff to Manchester Centre as we approach the north of the country. Contact them, let them know we're here. Check our descent is going alright. We've begun our descent. So they've given us the QNH, the barometric pressure for Manchester currently. Nice gap in the clouds there, you can look down. The outskirts of Birmingham down there. Coventry, etc. So, welcome to the stream, anybody. Currently doing flight BA1386, London Heathrow to Manchester this morning. You can use Flight Radar 24 or any other flight tracking software or application, and if you search for the flight, which is in the title of the video, BA1386, you can track it in real time. It's British Airways A320, just like this one, although this one's the Neo. So it's got these funky wingtips and slightly bigger engines. Being told off by ATC because I've begun my descent, and they didn't tell me to, but it's fine. The real life flight is already down to 11,800 feet. That there is the AI flight of the real one. Can't quite get to the. What does he tell him? Oh well, he's obviously started his descent. Gonna keep asking me to do that. Good old clever ATC. We are cloud surfing right now. Do excuse the wrong call sign, as I say. I forgot to change it. It's early in the morning. I couldn't back out of it because obviously this is real time. But you can imagine. Check our flight plan and just so we want to be at 8,000 feet according to this by this waypoint here. Let's see if I can do it. It's Delta Alpha Yankee November Echo. There we go. Well into the murk again. Given a nice orange colour by the rising sun. But cloud cover is not too bad. It's not as bad as it was when we took off from Heathrow. see the rolling fields of the Midlands as we approach the north. As we're about to join our approach, I'm going to turn the ILS infrared display on. That gives us these little white circles along the side, and as we approach the airfield there will be magenta diamonds moving along on both these axes, and when they hit these yellow lines, when the bottom magenta diamond hits that yellow line there, we're going to turn the localizer mode on, and when the magenta diamond on the y-axis here hits this yellow line, we're going to turn our approach mode on, and that'll fly us right into the runway. We'll take manual control for landing. Slight left-hand turn. We'll descend to 10,000. They'll realise we want this altitude in a minute. Okay, the rain, now we're in the clouds. Pretty dark and miserable. As you can see, when he stops talking over me, the A220 and all Airbus aircraft are controlled with a side stick like this, or the first officer can also use theirs on the other side. So I'm currently flying with a yoke like you'd get in a Boeing style aircraft, so not entirely accurate, but it does the job. Oh, there we go, Manchester approach. Interrupt him. Manchester approach. Let's see if they give us a better altitude reader. I'm not climbing flight level 180. 30.04. The actual flight is turning onto finals already. We're a few minutes behind here, thanks to a slow taxi out. Stuck behind the generic A330 on the taxiway. But it's alright. We're mostly accurate. Our approach into Manchester is slightly different to the real thing as well. I couldn't get that to work in game. I'm not going to climb to 180 this close to the airport, am I? I like to ignore the ATC when I've got a proper flight plan. Obviously you have to acknowledge and things like that, otherwise they get angry at you and cancel your IFR, but we humour them. I use SimBrief for my flights like this, Navigraph, dispatch.simbrief.com. You can use real flight information. Okay, we've been told 8,000 feet. We'll start thinking about bringing flaps down soon. Sip of tea for the descent. Descend and maintain 3,500 already. This is why I ignore the ATC. They talk a lot of nonsense most of the time. Let's use my flight plan and see what that says. So by Indigo November 08, we want to be at 2,800. It does say 3,500 for MCT. So we could humour them, I suppose. This is up anyhow. See, the VFR map gets a little confused sometimes. You can see we are following the right path according to the aircraft's computer. It's going to be a bit of a loop around onto finals. The actual flight, BA1386, is currently joining the back of the stack in the approach for Manchester. We'll be landing on 23 right, same as us. We'll just be a little bit behind. Proper murky and miserable in here. We can see the ground from third person. Better view. Can no longer see the sky. Welcome to Great Britain. Alright, let's humour them and descend. It's probably time to anyway, so we're just going to click the centre button of our mouse there. And the aircraft should acknowledge that. You can see our first and both magenta diamonds have appeared onto the screen. They're going to keep moving towards the yellow lines. So we've got to keep an eye on those, we don't want to miss it. I am descending, am I not? Looks to me like I am descending. This approach seems a bit nonsense to me, because you're flying straight up the approach pattern to come back down it, which, should there be other traffic in the approach pattern, you're going to be, well, there's a chance you're going to be less than 1,000 feet separation, but we'll do what it tells us. We'll do what it tells us. Obviously that's not what the real life flight did, but as I say, I couldn't get that to work in game. Needs a little bit more trial and error. water running along the windows. Not the most pleasant flight ever. I should probably put the wipers back on, ready for when we get down. Rain sounds disappeared. We found a break in the cloud. Turning wipers off may be ambitious, but there we go. We were Indigo 08, I believe it was. We need to be down. Oh, back. Here comes the rain again. Indigo November 08. We need to be at 2,800 feet. So when we hit 3,500 ATC, will, I assume, give us that instruction. I'm going to preload it into computer. We'll engage that when we need to. We've actually just overflown Manchester Airport. We're going to turn around and come back on ourselves. I'm going to go flaps 1. I'm going to go ahead and begin that descent. Thanks. Keep an eye on our magenta diamonds. Moving towards the centre. Can't see a great deal out of the windows. So actually the approach diamond has just reached the centre, so we're going to engage approach mode. It might be a bit premature. They tend to come back down, so we can disengage that. It's when it gets settled in the middle. You want to catch it in the middle. So the localizer one we may be able to get now. Let's try it. No, we're not really in the right approach just yet. I suppose we possibly are too late on the localizer one, but let's see how it goes. There we go, flaps 2. Wiggling around. The key for us is going to be, we want to be at 1,500 feet by Indigo November 04. So that's when we're coming back down. In fact, I jumped the gun with 2,800 feet, but we'll sit at it now. Making a right hand turn. Very low to the ground here. I was expecting a left-hand turn, as we saw on there, but as I said earlier, the VFR map does not always correspond to what the computer thinks in the aircraft, especially if we set up a flight plan using the FMC or the FMS, which is what we did. You can see the green line, which is our flight path appearing back on the computer, and we're lining up with runway 23 right. On the magenta diamond still. Hopefully they should come back to the yellow lines, otherwise we're going to have to do this all manually. Oh, this approach was a bit windy. Just going to keep those wipers on one. Well, that's for 1,000 feet already. That's because we're over higher terrain, which again, the approach wouldn't really be over here, but it's what the game wanted, clearly. And once we got ourselves properly aligned with the runway, I'll turn landing lights on. And gently descend in. The actual flight should have landed by now. Yep, it has. Flight BA1386 already taxied to gate. No, we're a little bit late arriving, but could be worse. Oh, that's the localizer. Caught it there in the middle. Looked just in time there. Interesting call from the ATC there, but we'll just ignore them. We want to be down at 1,500 feet by this waypoint here, so I'm going to set it ready and probably engage that actually. See the approach magenta diamond coming, so we'll engage approach then. Landing lights are on. Gear will be down soon. Flaps 3. Murky down here. We should soon get clearance to land. That tower first helps. fire information and our landing clearance, clear to land. Watching this magenta diamond as well, it's about to intersect the yellow line, so that's approach mode on. So let's go full flaps and gear down, can see the runway lights now. Callouts. Got both magenta diamonds locked, we've got landing lights on, flaps fully down, gear down, and speed brakes armed. Doesn't seem to be too much of a crosswind right now. Take manual control shortly. Let's just check what our landing speed should be. Approximately 135 knots. 500 feet. We're going to take manual control. I'm now in control of the aircraft. Try and bring it down nice and gently. Hold the centre line.
100.
There's an aircraft on the runway, but Microsoft Flight Simulator, little bit bouncy, but we are down onto the brakes, reversers as well. Reversers off. Got it slowed down. Little bit of a here and there landing. Bit of a gust towards the end, but it's a pretty heavy touchdown. But we didn't really bounce. We lost the centre line slightly, just trying to get that nose wheel down. I've had worse. Nose flaps up. Ground handoff. Let's also bring those speed brakes back. And then let's get our taxi to the gates. See if it'll give us a taxi ribbon this time. Just makes life easier. It will not. Lovely, so we're gonna go find our gate. Then we can right turn here. Taxi lights on. Pretty terrible weather this morning. Nice looking aircraft though. Another terrible flight. The approach could have been better. But it is what it is, we got it down. About 5 minutes late, according to the actual flight BA1386, as we are following along with them. Hopefully we can sneak into a gate nearby here. I believe that's the gate we want. Excuse me. That'll do for us. I've chosen the one without a taxi on. Or parking. But hey, we're at Manchester Airport, so we can call that successful. Let's get those wipers off and those engines shut down. Stop listening to him as well. Ground services to give us nothing. We're never going to get that. Okay. Thrusters are set back. Flaps all the way up. Spree brakes back to 0. Let's get those engines off. Probably should have engaged the AP before that, but we finished our flight. So there's our flight information. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope it was entertaining but also somewhat informative. And I hope you were able to follow along with the actual flight BA1386. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on Twitch as a saved video, not live, then you can still search BA1386 and try and find the flight from the 23rd of January. From London Heathrow to Manchester Airport, and see the flight path that we did today. Thank you everyone for joining me, and I will see you in my next stream. Thank you.